Hi, everyone. I wanted to take a few minutes this afternoon just to review how to access and use the library databases. I'm getting lots of questions about this, and I want to make sure that you all get it on this first paper because you're going to use the same thing over and over again this semester. Okay, so you're going to do the exact same process for your next two papers. So this is really important. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So I want you all to remember that for English 102, the only sources that you can use for your papers are actually, I'm going to stop sharing for a second, are the YC database sources. So you want to make sure you're looking at the academic articles in the databases. So you're not looking for books, you're looking for academic articles, okay? So the way that we do this is you do your research first, and then you decide what you want to say. So the process that we follow is you read first for enjoyment, to understand, to connect to the work. And you kind of have an idea of what you think the author is trying to say. And you also might have in your head some questions that you have, things like that. So what your research is doing is you're kind of verifying what you think you know about the poem, and also just kind of keeping an open mind to see what else might you discover about the author and their work. Okay, so the very first thing that we're always going to do is try to find the author's biography. Okay, so now I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so here is our YC library. When we click on online resources, we're going to go to the databases A to Z list. And the very first place we're going to go is to the L, and we're going to go to the literature criticism by Gale. So literature criticism by Gale is really cool because it has specific author pages that tell you all about the author and link to other work about the author. So you're going to go down to where it says popular authors. And unless you happen to be writing about one of these 5 people, you're going to click browse all authors. So you're going to search here in this top bar. So like if you're searching for Dickinson, that page is going to come up, and I'm going to right click this because I want to come back to this page. The important thing here is that this is not it. This little tiny paragraph is not what you're looking for. You want to read the full overview. So once you get to the full overview, you can see that you've got a 2,000 word article right here that's going to give the biography, the works that she did, other things like all the resources. So it's really, even though it says it's 2,000 words, it's really not that long to read. It's a couple of paragraphs, maybe 3 or 4 pages if you printed it out. But this is where you can see the cite button at the top. So if I click on that, it's going to default to MLA because it's a literature database, and you can just select, copy, and paste right into your research journal or right into your works cited page, and you'll have the absolute correct citation. Okay, so it's really important that you click on the expansion so you can get to that cite button. Now, what's cool about the author pages is that they also have these other pages that are linked to them. So there's related author articles, there's related subjects, suggested topics. So there's all kinds of things here that you could look at that might help you figure out your next move, your next source. So here at the bottom, you can look at those criticisms, or you can click on view all related articles, and then you can just go right here. So let's say you were doing a lot of Emily Dickinson's poems are about death. So chances are, if you are writing about one of her poems, it might have something to do with that. So look at this, Emily Dickinson and death. Let's go ahead and click on this. We may have just found our second source, depending on what you're doing. Okay, and so here you're going to have this whole section about Dickinson, and it's going to continue on here. And what's cool about these is that often there's more than one author, so it's a compilation of a lot of different analysis or critiques of her work. So there's a lot of things that you can find in here, okay? So that is really important to know that. And again, here you can click that cite button again, And you can copy and paste this directly into your research journal or your works cited page. So what's really important about this is what you want to do as you read. And notice here that you can download this, which is important to know that you can do that, because what you want to be able to do, you can also listen to it if you want to, which is kind of cool. But what you want to do is, as you read through this, when you're doing your research journal, you don't just want to copy paste the site and then make up a summary. You actually want to read these articles, because then think about, we talk about reading with a pen in hand and underlining the things that you think are important. So what you're going to do in your research journal is copy and paste those things that are so important. So look at this. If I read a book and it makes my whole body so cold, no fire can ever warm me, I know that is poetry. If I feel physically as if the top of my head were taken off, I know that is poetry. So that is really cool. If you were writing about her library poem, like that's kind of what that might relate to that. But whatever it is that sticks out to you, if you copy it and paste it into your research journal as a quote, then you know that that quote is there, and you've got all of the quotes that you're going to need for your paper in one document, because you've already read through your sources and pulled out what's important. And now you're going to build your argument. You're going to write your outline and your thesis based on what you've read and what you've learned. You don't want to do it the opposite direction. Okay, so if you happen to be in here and you're writing about somebody like Alberto Rios and it says no results, then what you want to do is come up here to the search bar, and we're going to type in that person's name, and you can see here is Alberto Rios. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and let's see what happens. All right, so you can see up here at the top, we've got criticism, we have biographies, we have work overviews and reviews and news. So let's click on biographies, because that's really what that author page is a biography. And look at this. We have an introduction to Rios right here. It looks like it's just a small part of an overall work, but it's going to give you a biography, his picture, just some the principal works, the things he wrote. So this is exactly what the author page gives you. It's just like something that was published somewhere. So you can go ahead and click the cite button here, and that suffices for your author page. Okay, so hopefully that helps you to navigate that. And then if you went back to those results, then you've got literature criticism, and you can look at all of these different essays that can probably help you with better understanding his work. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense. So to recap, all three sources need to come from the databases. You need to read the sources first and learn from them, and then build your outline and your thesis on what you've read and what you've learned. If you do it that way, then when you get to the drafting part, you're not going to be struggling because you can't find any quotes. Okay, so a lot of you, that's your whole experience up to this point is, oh my gosh, I got to find a quote. Well, you shouldn't have to find a quote, because all your quotes are already in the research journal, because you already did your research. So you shouldn't need to find a quote. You should already have your quotes, and your argument they should naturally fit into what you're trying to say, because that's the process that you followed. Hopefully. All right. If you need any help, let me know, but hopefully this helps you to get back on the right track if you got stuck.